those claims in previous episodes. For example, Peter Attia claims in his mega best-selling book that protein recommendations from scientists and medical associations around the world are a joke, and you should more than double them. He wrote that if you eat excess protein, you'll simply pee out the excess. No scientist would back that claim. I could expand my list of influencers to the people who seem to be the top 50 most influential personalities in nutrition in America, and you still wouldn't find an actual nutrition scientist. So I have come to believe that the number one factor for why Americans stand alone in poor health despite spending the most is lack of trust in scientists and institutions. It is both a symptom and a cause. Claims don't get bolder than that. Let's see if I can back that up. I have 4 points. Number 1, when we interviewed Eva Rustad de Brises from Norway about their dietary guidelines, she said something we didn't think to ask.
This may be a bit surprising to you, but in Norway about 7 out of 10 people, they trust the dietary guidelines from the national health authorities. And maybe, I don't know, but maybe that is because we are relatively boring and stable with our guidelines and do not follow every trend that comes along the way.
Boring and stable.
That's a speculation. We follow the scientific advice that we are sure are the best at the time.
What a ginormous difference in how Americans view our guidelines. Influencers have produced too many videos to count about how we think the guidelines are an evil scam. And yet, the inspiration for our guidelines came from Sweden. Our 2025 guideline proposal, written by actual nutrition scientists, looks just like the guidelines from every other healthy country. But we stand alone in rejecting that science because an influencer with no background in science is now in charge of America's health. I really dislike saying this, but the inmates have overrun the asylum.
Some of the non-administration figures in that video are Maha moms and influencers who played a big role in spreading this movement. Some have even been invited to the White House, like this influencer back in May.
So I'm in D.C. for the big announcement of the Maha Chronic Disease Report, and I'm in podcasting. I podcast with Bob and Kennedy. Everybody's in this room podcasting. I'm eating raw milk, raw meat, grass-fed beef in the White House.
That guy even got RFK to do a raw milk shot on camera, making raw milk one of the most disgusting things floating around in RFK at any given time, right up there with that dead worm in his brain.
You'll meet an actual nutrition scientist here in a few minutes who helped write the 2025 proposed guidelines for America. I'll ask about protein, and you can judge whether he's an evil scammer. Number 2, as I was growing up, Ancel Keys was one of the most admired scientists in America. He still is among nutrition scientists around the world. And the Mediterranean diet that his large international team of scientists promoted has become the gold standard for Western countries. But 2 journalists who became nutrition influencers, Nina Teicholz and Gary Taubes, became famous for debunking Ancel Keys. And to do that, they simply made things up. And then several social media doctors like Mark Hyman ran with it. For example, they claimed he cherry-picked the countries his team studied. I made a short clip about that, and I have never heard even the most hardcore Ancel Keys conspiracist watch it and still believe they cherry-picked. And that's because they didn't, and we have the receipts. Once scientists are pushed aside, it opens the door to every good-looking, charismatic profiteer to promote every extreme diet imaginable. And those diets come and go, just like fashion. But I'm not aware of any of them unless they're a close cousin to the Mediterranean diet, like Nordic and Asian diets are, that have been effective in public health. Number 3.